Hey, it's Brenna and Mouse, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot recently, and it's how social media has shaped the way that I view food, and it's not necessarily in the best way. I've been working with a dietitian for my sport this summer, extra hard. We've been super intentional with how I'm fueling myself for my workouts and for snowboarding and all the things. And I've realized I had so much to unlearn, and not just about nutrition, but also like how I learn and consume things in general. For years, I followed a lot of nutritionists online, what I eat in a day videos, and a lot of recipes. And this is what you need to do to be like super strong. And I would take those recipes and that information and I would try to apply it to my life because it seemed like good information. But looking back, I wasn't actually learning anything. I was just copying what they were doing. And I was collecting advice from people that knew nothing about my body, my training, and what I should be eating, which in hindsight, duh, of course, like that's not going to work. But I feel like there's so many times with social media that I do this. Social media makes us feel like we're learning things, but we're not really pausing to ask, like, what is this information? Is it true? And is it even relevant to me? I feel like we consume so much information and it makes us feel like that we've mastered the information. We know the content, we know what we're doing, but do we actually, or do we just have a lot of noise in the back of our head? I feel like one thing I've noticed with the way that I scroll and consume media online is it felt like I knew and understood things, but anytime somebody would ask me about a topic that I had learned so much about, there was so little information and detail and like complexity to the information, to the depth of the information. I couldn't do it. I One of my favorite things that I love to do with my daughter is anytime she has something new that she's telling me from school, I love to go, okay, what's the definition of it? And she'll often go to give me an example and I'm like, no. Like what does it mean to do this? And I had to start doing that for myself because I realized like, oh, I just have a lot of surface level information. There's nothing more to it than that. But I feel like we're not really to blame. It's definitely how the algorithm works. It senses that we like the information and it just gives us that information constantly because you're telling it that's what you want to know and you learn. And so as you get tons of information on the same topic, it starts to really feel like you know a thing or two about it. And you probably do. But if you haven't paused and asked yourself, is this real? Is this relevant? Then maybe we don't actually know it. And if we do know it, maybe we don't know things that are actually good for us. I got tired of this recently, mostly because I just felt like I was wasting time, my time, which is so precious to me. And so, what I'm doing differently now is when I do get on social media and I do find something that I find fascinating and interesting, I am getting off of the short burst dopamine platforms. So, no more Instagram, no more TikTok, no more threads. Like where I go, I try to find books, Substacks, like long form reading information where I can dive deeper, learn about people's perspectives, and this has really like hit me with my nutrition journey specifically because working with an expert, somebody who went to school for many years, has worked with many athletes, and hearing her talk about nutrition in its application to myself and my life and my goals, I'm like, holy crap, no one's ever told me that on TikTok. So that has given me this pause and this need for discernment because how many other times have I just taken what I was consuming on a regular basis as gospel, as truth? I'm sure so many times. And I don't know about you, but I have this quirk where I hate not feeling like I have 100% autonomy over my life. I need to feel like I understand my choices, I get to decide my choices, and then I can fully trust my choices and be confident in what I end up doing. What I've noticed is when I am consuming information and I'm copying and doing what I think I'm supposed to be doing, I don't have that confidence and trust in myself because I don't understand. And over time, this causes some anxiety in me because I feel like I don't have autonomy over my life. I don't feel like I'm the one making the choices. I don't feel like I'm the one in the driver's seat. And it's twofold. One, I'm just constantly consuming information and learning more and more learning. But I'm still not actually getting in touch with myself, my wants, and where my life actually is. And so trying to copy what I think is going to get me where I want to go isn't going to work because I'm not actually figuring out if this is like a direction I even want to go. And so if you feel like you're in this constant scroll and just misalignment with like doing all the things you feel like you're supposed to be doing, but it's not working, you're not alone. First of all, I know I'm not alone. But two, you don't have to stay there. We have the ability to log out, to, as the internet likes to say, touch grass, but it's true. Get in touch with what is real, which is your life, where you are right now, and actually make decisions that are going to benefit where you want to go. It feels easier said than done, and it is, but we have such a beautiful life outside of the high dopamine algorithms that I feel like we all deserve to get reacquainted with and get back in touch with. And so for me, one way that I'm starting to do that is going to my library more frequently. The library has so many tools and resources, and it is free. Like, you've already paid for it from your taxes. Use it. Because if we don't use it, we will lose it. And there are so many resources and information, and you get to talk to people and get out of your home and get out of your phone. And it's just such a beautiful thing. So going to the library for me with nutrition, working with real people, real experts. And I understand that that is a privilege. It's expensive. You have to, if you have the funds to do it, make it a priority to get in touch with real people and real experts and the things you want to get better at. But if you don't, go to a library. Get off your phone. Stop trying to find the information by quick scrolls. Even long form content on the internet isn't always the most helpful. I don't know about you, but when I was going through school and we had to do research papers and we used Google, they would drive it into our head, sources, sources, sources. Now with the internet and social media, it is so hard to figure out if your sources are accurate. And then also, like, how biased are these sources? And when you're consuming videos that are created for your entertainment and for the algorithm to pick up and go viral, actual accurate information is not the priority. And so get off of these platforms, get back into like real information. You'll also feel maybe that fear that you have isn't so strong anymore. I know for me, like, this fear that I wasn't doing things right was so strong in like the height of my like content consumption addiction, whatever we'll call it that, was so much stronger. And so once I got off, touched more grass, read more books, got back into real life, I've realized, man, like, it's really not that scary out there. It doesn't need to be that scary out there. We have autonomy and control over so many things. And so I really hope that helps. Also, since working with my nutritionist, I have put on some more muscle, specifically in my little leg. And I'm kind of shifting gears here. My apologies, honey bear. But I have noticed that my prosthetic leg does not fit anymore. And for me, one of the key points of that is pain. I get so much pain in my little leg because what's happening, and you can actually try this for yourself on your real body, but what's happening is when my muscles contract, there's nowhere for them to go. So they just start cramping up because they're being squoze. And you can have like your friend like squeeze your arm really hard and then try and flex your arm. And you'll notice like, oh my gosh, this hurts so bad. So as I've been walking lately, I've been having that pain. And then I've been getting like kind of almost like a blister on the bottom of my leg because it doesn't fit all the way into the socket, which, by the way, this is the socket, the top piece. And so because it doesn't fit all the way, I'm not really getting content at the bottom. So it's creating like a hickey and a pressure point, and it hurts so bad. And I'm so over it. But one part of getting a prosthetic leg made, and I'll be honest, I've been really privileged and lucky that this part has been reprioritized or prioritized by my prosthetic company when I was in Utah, that I didn't have to wait as long as like a typical person because of my Paralympic background. And typically it's like, oh, I have a competition or I have a travel, whatever. Um, It shouldn't be this way. It literally, everybody should be taken, if they have prosthetic issues, it should be taken on as urgent, but it's not in the industry because, as I was told, prosthetics aren't seen as, there's no such thing as a prosthetic emergency in the prosthetic world, which is wild because this is our legs and our mobility. And if you broke your leg, your real one, you would be in urgent care. There needs to be an urgent care for prosthetics. This is insane, but I digress. So in order for me to get my leg made, I have to wait for my prescription, which is fine, I guess. So I have to go to a doctor, get a prescription. Once the prescription is in, it takes about 2 weeks to finally see your prosthetist. Then once you see your prosthetist, assuming you've already had a consultation and you like know what you're going to do, then they start the making of the leg process, which then takes about 2 weeks from that casting to the first test socket. A test socket you could be in from anywhere for a week to a month, maybe more. And you're getting new test sockets made during this period, but this is like where you're really like working out the kinks, making sure it doesn't hurt, there's no discomfort. And then once all of that is figured out, it goes to fabrication, which is where it becomes carbon fibered. And that takes at least a week, at least, usually about 2 weeks. So, all in all, you're looking at months to get a leg made, which is just insane to me because, again, this is our life, this is our mobility. There can't be that many amputees in my community. Maybe there are. It just seems a little insane. But whatever. That's just what I'm dealing with. It's one of those things where I'm like, dang it, why did I have to put like my priority into my training, into my nutrition, into like being a better athlete if it's going to completely destroy my quality of life and being able to walk? Like, just one of those things where I'm like, man, like my disability is really disabling me. I'm like literally struggling right now mentally. Not, I want to go mountain biking, but I can't because I'm scared that it's going to hurt. And if it hurts, like I'm stuck. And when I'm telling you, it hurts so bad. It will drive me to tears. And I just like have to get through it. And so I'm scared being on like a hike or a mountain bike trail where like you can't just call someone to come pick you up. Like you're out there and you're stuck. And like that scares me. So it's a bummer. Thank you for giving me a place to share that and just be honest and real. Which speaking of, which is why I'm posting on YouTube again. I haven't really actually posted in many years and actually made it a thing, but I have noticed, specifically kind of going back to the first conversation about social media and this like drive for algorithm content and virality. I'm so sick of not connecting and not building a community and not giving people the time of day. Like, I don't want to see the same regurgitated reel over and over and over again. Like, no, give me you. I want to know you. I want to know your thoughts, your processes, your life. And I just feel like we're missing that so deeply. One of the reasons that I am on YouTube, I was talking to another creator friend and telling her exactly what I just said. She was like, you need to get on YouTube. And I was like, I can't do this again. Like, I can't go through another platform and just feel like I'm at the algorithm's whim, like whatever. And I just bare my soul because I love sharing content. I love sharing my life. I love making it meaningful so that hopefully it's like meaningful to someone else and they can gain something out of it. But it like sucks when it doesn't go anywhere or it doesn't connect. And she was like, no, YouTube is the place for community. YouTube is worth it to build people. And I'm like, dang, that's what I want. I want to feel like right here where we can sit down, chat about things that matter. That's what I'm going to do. It's not flashy, it's not sexy, it's just us chatting. One thing that I absolutely love in life is talking about philosophy and like different ways to live and like meaning and making meaning of life and all the things. And one part that I'm really focused on right now, I'm reading this book. It's called No Nonsense Spirituality. It's great. One thing that she writes about is there's like 4 fears of life. And I feel like I've worked through all of them. But this one that is just hitting me so hard right now. And the 4 fears are your fear of death, your fear of meaninglessness, fear of freedom, and then the fourth one is fear of isolation. And I've realized I have a fear of isolation. So I've met mortality through cancer. I'm not afraid of dying. I know that, like, whether there's an afterlife or not, or whatever is out there, like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm good with it. I'm not afraid of freedom. I feel like I love the ability to choose my own path in life and to know and trust that if I'm living in alignment with myself and I am responsible for myself, like, I'm good with that. Meaning, I love making meaning and purpose out of my life. I get to decide my meaning, I get to decide my purpose, and I get to live for it. And if I am, again, in alignment with those things, life is good, baby. But that fourth one of fear of isolation, listen, I am a homebody. I am actually introverted, but I have a deep desire for belonging. And in this book, she quotes Carl Jung, one of his um, parts of his philosophy or whatever. And it's how basically true loneliness isn't a lack of friends, it's a lack of not being known. It's also a lack of bearing your soul and what you care about and people not thinking that's worthwhile. And I feel like I've been really struggling with this recently because I, like everyone, have a desire to be known. And as Brene Brown says, you go out and you belong to groups, but you're molding yourself and changing yourself. You still don't truly belong. The only way to belong is to belong to yourself first, because then you can go out into these places and be your full authentic self. And if you're not fully received the way that you want to, it doesn't matter because you belong to yourself. And I love that, but like I cannot figure out how to make that connect and like mean something to me in my life now. And so I wanted to come on YouTube to build community and connection, to bare my soul, and ideally to find a place of belonging with other people that may be in a similar place as I am. Of like, I live in a community. It's really hard to find people that, like-minded. I've made so many friends. I have some of the best friends, but none of them live with me. I have met such amazing, incredible people online and that have actually become such great friends. So I'm like, why can't I have a place where we're just chit-chatting like right now, like I would do with my friends? So this is my way of saying, let's belong together. Let's be here. My goal is to be mindful and be intentional with my words here, with how I'm receiving information. I know that I can be a little quick to not judge, but be hot-headed. Like when I feel misunderstood, that for me is like such a big thing. And it's been that way my whole life. Like, I hate feeling misunderstood. It is literally like a core wound. So let's like unpack all of this together. Let's like sit with it together. My moving forward, like I love chatting about my sport and the ways that I'm like internalizing information. For instance, my nutrition journey, which has been going well, but how I had to navigate that information online, what's going on in my life with my, like right now, my leg not fitting. I feel like as long as I have a heated blanket, we've got Mousy Girl with us. You can follow her on Instagram, mouse_goddess. She's a life coach. She's amazing. And I love talking about philosophy and like self help or self improvement, but in a way that's not like you're broken. It's more of a way of let's like reflect and slow down and see how we're processing life together. Um, but yeah, thank you guys for your time today. Let me know, like, I'm curious, mostly curious, all three parts, but how are you consuming information online? I've noticed on YouTube, I'm actually not a big YouTube girl. When Jenna Marbles retired, my YouTube consumption became none. I miss her. And so I'm starting to get back online on YouTube. I actually really like it. So like what I'm watching, but I've seen a lot of people talking about phone addiction. And I went through my own phone addiction stuff solo. Nobody was really talking about it then. So it's really cool that we're talking about it now. So I'm curious like how you consume media, if you've noticed a shift in your real life versus online. And then yeah, do you guys wanna, like, belong together? Like, what are your take on that? Do you wanna, like, hang out with me more? Because like, I really wanna hang out with you. So, um, interact with this because otherwise I'm literally talking to myself and, like, I'm not trying to do that.